Yeah, that's a good question. And the answer is I don't really know because I think I don't take a lot of time thinking about names because I feel that in the end a character defines a name as opposed to the name defining the character. So I know that Anthony Horowitz, who writes Foyle's War, for Christopher Foyle, the lead character, he wanted a name that spoke of the 1940s, so he chose Foyle because it was the name of the most famous bookshop at the time in Charing Cross Road. But I think for me, a name actually matters very little after the first couple of pages because then the character is defining the name and then the character is all that matters and the name is slightly secondary. So Abbot Peter, well, I hope the character defines the name. Well, of course, I've always been a fan of the classic murder mystery. The Agatha Christie, the country house thing, Poirot and Marple, and all the ones since. So I've always been a fan of that. But then I've also been a fan of the desert, and I had this character, Abbot Peter, in the desert. I wrote some very short novels a long time ago, and I had this character in the desert because I always wanted to put a character in the desert and see what happened. And he was a seeker after truth as well. I mean, he was an abbot in a monastery, and he was a seeker after truth there. And then I thought, well, why can't he come to England and become part of the murder mystery? Because he's a seeker after truth, and so why can't he seek after truth of murder? So I quite like that idea. I quite like the idea of bringing a character from the desert, sticking him in England, and letting him take part in the great murder mystery genre. So Abbot Peter came to Stormhaven, and he got involved. Yes, the plot of A Psychiatrist screams, well, you have to be prepared to be scared, I think, actually. It is quite a scary one, because it's set in an Elizabethan pile on the edge of Stormhaven called Henry House. And in a way, Henry House is the star of the story, in a way. And in the Henry House, there is the Mind Game Clinic, which is a therapy clinic set up on the edge of Stormhaven that's struggling to exist. And of course, what happens is that one of the lead therapists, Barnabas, is found dead in the office cupboard after the Feast of Fools, which involves both staff and clients at the Mind Games Clinic. And Abbot Peter, as a trustee of the Mind Games Clinic, is brought in to investigate what happened. So we get to know the therapists, and we get to know the world of Sigmund and Freud and Carl Jung, and we get to know the world of the clients as well, in a classic whodunit, and it's called A Psychiatrist Screams. And of course, the Feast of Fools takes place on Halloween night, and they're all dressed as clowns. So there's quite a strong Halloween feel to it, there's quite a strong clown feel to it. And of course, the climax occurs on Bonfire Night. So it's very much an autumn book. So, it's a good time to read it if you're not too scared.